Hello everybody, Balatro 1.0.1 is now up on the experimental branch. Here is every change you can expect to find in the update. Starting with how things look, you can now toggle on reduced motion, removing the swirling background and gyrating card motion. Gold seeds have changed. They now ensure that the first legendary joker on that seed is a joker you have not won with on gold stake for completionist ++ hunting. Staying on stakes, Orange Stake has scrapped the increasing pack cost mechanic and instead now has perishable jokers. There's a 30% chance for any joker to have the perishable sticker, disabling them after 5 rounds. Gold Stake has changed too. Instead of -1 hand size, there is a new rental mechanic. Like perishable and eternal jokers, there's a 30% chance for any joker to have this sticker, which will make them cost $1 more up front and then $3 every round. Speaking of eternal jokers, these can now be found inside buffoon packs as well as in shops. A normal buffoon pack will always spawn in the first shop every time guaranteed, so no more getting stuck with 2 terrible planets and no money to reroll. While in the shop menu, after a boss blind, you can now preview the skip tags and bosses of the ante ahead without having to leave the shop, so now you can plan ahead and move wisely. Some blinds are now banned on challenge runs. Crimson Heart, Verdant Leaf and Amber Acorn are banned on the Jokerless challenge. Verdant Leaf is banned on the Typecast challenge and the Non-Perishable challenge, and the Plant has been banned from the Mad World challenge. The following planet cards have received buffs. Saturn now gives +3 mult instead of +2 mult for straights. Neptune now gives +4 mult instead of +3 mult for straight flushes. Eris now gives +50 chips instead of +40 chips for flush 5. And Ceres now gives +4 mult instead of +3 mult for flush houses. One tarot got a change this patch. Magician now applies lucky to 2 cards instead of 1. The Joker tags have also had some big changes. The uncommon, rare, negative, polychrome, foil, and holograph tags all make their respective jokers free. No more $12 polychrome joker with $11 in the bank after the first boss blind. The investment tag is also 66% better, offering $25 instead of $15 after beating a boss blind. Blue Seal has had a pretty major change that I think makes it much better. It now creates the planet card of the final poker hand played during the round, rather than a random planet card. Alrighty, with all that out of the way, let's check in on the modifications to the jokers. 8 Ball has had a revamp, instead now having a 1 in 4 chance to spawn a tarot card when any played 8 is scored. Mad and Clever jokers now apply instead to any hand that contains a 2 pair, rather than their old 4 of a kind versions. The legendary Yorick now gains 1x mult for every 23 cards discarded, starting at 1x. That's individual cards discarded, not whole discards used. Midas Mask now only applies gold enhancement to the scoring face cards and costs $7 instead of 6. His mate Vampire now only removes enhancements from scoring cards, giving 0.1 mult per enhancement instead of 0.2 mult, and is rare instead of uncommon. Madness now only applies on the small and big blinds, not on boss blind selection. To-do list has had a major change in that the poker hand no longer changes on payout, instead it always changes at the end of the round, so you won't get stuck on straight flush anymore. The description of shortcut has changed to include a more apt example. Ancient Joker can no longer repeat the selected suit between rounds. Swashbuckler now adds the sell value of all jokers to + mult, not just the jokers to its left. Hanging Chad now re-triggers the first play card 2 times instead of once. A subtle change to Flower Pot, it now includes the base suit of debuff cards when determining if it will trigger. Bootstraps has had a nice quality of life improvement, now including the current mult bonus in its description. All 4 sinful jokers now give only +3 mult per suit in their respective suit, rather than +4. Banner is nerfed now to give only 30 chips per remaining discard instead of +40 chips. Fibonacci now costs $8 instead of $7 because Fibonacci numbers be Fibonacciing. Steel Joker now gives 0.2x mult per steel card in the full deck instead of 0.25x mult. Much like the Fibonacci change, Odd Todd now gives plus 31 chips per odd rank card instead of plus 30 chips as a nod to the odd. 6 cents is now uncommon and $6, previously it was a rare. Hiker is 25% better, now giving plus 5 chips to every scoring card played instead of plus 4 chips. The fabled banana Gros Michel now has a 1 in 6 chance to go extinct instead of a 1 in 4, which may not be a good thing if you are Cavendish hunting. Seance is now uncommon and $6, having previously been rare and $7. Riff Raff got more expensive at $6, where it was previously $4. Vagabond has been moved to rare from uncommon and now costs $8 instead of $6, but once again triggers on $4 instead of $3. Cloud9 now costs $7 and not $6. Mail-in Rebate now costs $5 instead of $3. Reserved Parking is going to show up more often now that it's common instead of uncommon. Lucky Cat now gains 0.25 mult per Lucky Proc instead of 0.2 times mult, a nice buff with the Magician now adding Lucky to 2 cards. Trading Card now costs $6 instead of $5. Campfire is burning less hot now, giving X 0.25 per card sold instead of X 0.5. Smiley Face got a buff, now giving plus 5 mult per face card where it was plus 4 mult, an interesting change given that the Sinful Jokers went from plus 4 to plus 3. Golden Ticket now pays out $4 per gold card played instead of $3, which is more than you get for simply holding the gold card in question. Bloodstone got a big buff, it now has a 1 in 2 chance to proc instead of a 1 in 3, look out for oops or sixes. Onyx Agate now gives plus 7 mult per club card instead of plus 8. Glass Joker now gives times 0.75 mult per glass card destroyed, an improvement on the 0.5 times mult previously. Stuntman isn't taking as many risks, now only giving plus 250 chips instead of 300. Invisible Joker will be acting faster, now requiring 2 rounds and costing $8 rather than 3 rounds costing $10. Burnt Joker has upped in rarity to rare instead of uncommon. And lastly, there are some changes to wording on scaling Jokers to refer to this Joker. That's it for the Jokers. Now to the odds and ends. There are some changes in the anti-scaling on white stake, green stake and purple stake. You can pause and peruse these images to see the different numbers on different antis. A bug has been fixed where opening a booster pack on hand size 0 was unskippable. A bug is fixed where the card generated by certificate was not being debuffed by boss blinds. They've updated the version of Love 2D. This has caused some versions on Windows and Steam Deck to perform better rather than being poor and stuttery for some players. And the default fallback tarot card has changed from full to strength if all tarots are already on screen. That's everything. Some things are still subject to change between the experimental and official patch, but hopefully they'll be minimal. Thank you so much for watching. If this video was helpful, please consider hitting that like button and subscribing for more Balatro videos. I'll see you in the next one. Cheers.